Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there lived a young prince. He was wise, noble, and very handsome, but he had one great problem. He wished to marry a real princess. Yet, despite his best efforts, none of the candidates seemed right. He traveled across many lands, visited grand castles, and met numerous beautiful ladies, but something was always missing. Some princesses were charming, but far too proud. Others had kind hearts, but lacked royal lineage. Some appeared perfect on the surface, but lacked the grace and gentleness he imagined in a true princess. Disheartened, the prince returned to his castle and shared his woes with his parents, the king and queen. "Perhaps you expect too much, my son," said the king. "Or perhaps a true princess is more than just beauty and title," added the queen. The prince sighed. He did not want just any bride. He longed for someone special, someone who carried true nobility in her heart. One evening, as the prince sat by the fireplace lost in thought, a terrible storm broke out. The wind howled through the castle towers, rain poured down in torrents, and thunder rumbled across the dark sky. Lightning flashed, illuminating the vast stone halls of the castle. Suddenly, a knock echoed through the great entrance. The servants hesitated. Who could be out on such a dreadful night? One of them cautiously opened the heavy wooden door. To everyone's surprise, a young woman stood outside. She was drenched from head to toe, her golden brown hair clinging to her face, and her elegant dress soaked through with rain. She shivered from the cold, hugging her arms tightly as she looked up at the servants. "I am a princess from a distant land," she spoke in a soft but steady voice. "My escort was lost in the storm, and I have been wandering for hours. May I seek shelter in your castle for the night?" The servants exchanged skeptical glances. A princess? Looking like that? They led her inside, where the queen and prince awaited her. The queen studied the young woman carefully. Though her appearance was far from regal at the moment, something in her eyes spoke of sincerity. She did not demand shelter. She asked for it politely, with the quiet dignity of someone accustomed to respect. But was she truly a princess? The queen decided to put her to the test. "Of course, my dear. We will prepare a comfortable room for you," she said, with a warm smile. But before the guest retired for the night, the queen went to the bedchamber and gave her servants very particular instructions. "Bring out the softest mattresses and the fluffiest duvets," she ordered. "Stack them high, but before you lay them down, place this pea at the bottom of the bed." The servants obeyed, carefully placing a tiny green pea beneath the layers of fabric. First, they placed one mattress, then another, and another, until there were 20 thick mattresses stacked high. Then, they covered them with 20 soft, luxurious duvets. The bed was so tall that a small ladder had to be placed beside it to help the princess climb up. "A true princess will feel even the slightest discomfort," whispered the queen to herself as she left the room. The young woman, grateful for shelter, thanked the servants and climbed up the ladder to her enormous bed. She lay down, hoping for a peaceful night's sleep after her long and exhausting journey. But as soon as she closed her eyes, she frowned. Something felt off. She turned on one side, then the other. No matter how she positioned herself, she could feel something hard pressing against her body. It was as if there was a tiny rock buried deep beneath the soft layers. She shifted, adjusted the pillows, and tried to ignore it. But the discomfort would not go away. All night, she tossed and turned, unable to rest. By morning, she felt sore and weary, as if she had been sleeping on bare stone. When the queen entered the room the next morning, she found the young woman sitting at the edge of the towering bed, rubbing her arms with a tired expression. "My dear," the queen asked gently, "how did you sleep?" The young woman sighed. "Oh, it was a dreadful night," she admitted. "I didn't sleep at all. Something was pressing into me through the bed, and no matter how I turned, I could feel it. My whole body aches." The queen's eyes sparkled with delight. She turned to the prince, who had just entered the chamber. "This proves she is a true princess," she declared. The prince's heart swelled with joy. Only someone of true royal blood, a princess with the finest, most delicate sensitivity, could have felt something so tiny through so many layers of bedding. "I have searched so long for a true princess," he said, looking at her warmly, "and now I have found her." The castle was soon filled with music and laughter as preparations began for a grand wedding. The young woman, now revealed to be a true princess, was given beautiful gowns, jeweled crowns, and a place of honor beside the prince. The two fell in love, not only because of the test, but because they came to know each other in the days that followed. The princess was wise, kind, and full of grace. The prince admired her gentle heart and the quiet strength she carried within. The royal couple was married in a magnificent ceremony, and people from far and wide came to celebrate. The tiny pea that had proved the princess's identity was placed in a glass case in the royal treasury, where it remained for many generations as a symbol of true nobility. And so, the prince and his princess lived happily ever after. And that, dear listener, is the tale of the princess and the pea.